This is Seasons of Discontent with your hosts Rick Snyder and Matt Combs.
Welcome to Seasons of Discontent. Yeah, we're back. Season 11, Episode 1, brought to you by Rick Snyder's Washington on YouTube. And I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt.
And we're back discussing all things Washington sports and life as part of the mighty Rick Snyder empire, not the old one we used to do. And so make sure you hit the like. What else we have? Share, subscribe, comment, even hit that thanks button if you're on YouTube. See the dollar sign. Matt needs some money.
Yeah, I do.
We're back for another season. Overall, Matt, what did you think about the preseason? I thought, honestly, I thought it was a little lackluster the first two games, and I wonder if it's because they had the Thursday practice against that team, and they got all that adrenaline out against those guys there, because it was a pretty lackluster. I mean, JD looked great, but the defense showed me nothing. There was no tackling. They scored 6 points against Miami. Should have been maybe 12, but that's another thing. I sat there at the end of my Miami game and thought 7-10. They're not quite what I was hoping they would be.
I mean, what can you expect from a preseason game and a preseason as a whole? I'll be honest with you. I feel like Cliff has shown more looks and more packages that are probably going to be used in the regular season than I was expecting him to. This is an entirely new coaching staff with a new quarterback. What did they replace, like 25 players or something like that? I mean, it was ridiculous. But this has been a complete overhaul of a roster. So, maybe they're still gelling, but by all account, Rick, I know you weren't in Miami watching the practices, but from all accounts, it seems like practices have been pretty good. Even the live scrimmage against the Miami Dolphins for Jaden Daniels. I mean, he's made some plays. Is he grabbing the headlines that a Caleb Williams is or JJ McCarthy was before he went down for the year? No, but preseason doesn't matter. Headlines don't matter. And honestly, this team needs to fly under the radar. I'm going to go a little bit lower than 7-10. I still think are some glaring issues on this team that Adam Peters is going to need another year to fix. The offensive line is still a mess, but I think that they're going to finish low enough that they can grab one of these premier left tackles. They need to experiment with Brandon Coleman at left tackle more in game. I think that kid can turn out to be a pretty good stopgap for this year. And then you could move him to a different position on the line. Andrew Wiley, that's a waste. He needs to go. That's a waste of money, if you ask me.
Yeah, the thing with Coleman is he's had a nagging injury. It's kept him out of things. Kind of hard to put him in an opening day lineup if you don't get him in. The preseason. It's not a vet. You may have to put Cornelius Lucas there in the beginning, but you always thought he would be the opening day starter, and eventually Coleman would become the real starter long term. The whole and the roster thing you talk about, I did an all-season look. This will be about a 60% or so turnover of the roster, and that would be the highest single season over roster change since 1945. Everybody talks about George Allen's Ramskins. That was only 35%. They're changing close to 2/3 of the players. Mm-hmm. And you can see it in how they've even done things. Like that was the past guy's player, we're going with a new player. Things like Cole Turner, gone. The only one that held over, I would say, that I thought was gone, but I don't now, is Dyami Brown. Mm-hmm. I thought he was going to be gone. He's looked really good. He may be the number 2, which is one of our questions, is who is the second receiver after Terry? I mean, I think they have a deep group they've got 12 receivers. You're only going to keep 6. They've got some guys that are good receivers, but they just don't have great receivers, and I don't know if you put Terry there or not. That's the problem, is they don't have 3 aces. They've got maybe an ace and a queen and a jack or something like that. Who do you think is going to be the number 2? If I had to do it right now, I can't say Dotson anymore. I would probably say Brown.
I think it's the other kid. I can't pronounce his name.
McCaffrey?
No, the guy, he's like got an African name.
Oh yeah, that one I can't say it.
I can't say his name. I apologize. I mean, he's a veteran. He's been around for a while, from what I understand, and he's kind of made decent plays. He's a little guy, like he's got he we're approaching the Smurfs from back in the day. But, um, I mean, if you're gonna go, see, here's the thing, and you hit on it. Adam Peters, Dan Quinn, Cliff Kingsbury, those guys that they drafted are not locks for this roster, or the guys that were here when they got here. They're not locks. You know, the I hate to say this, and beat a dead horse, but we're seeing the results of Ron's drafts, and other guys, smart football guys, are coming in here, and they're going to axe a lot of the guys that he drafted. Um, Obviously Terry's number one. It might be Diami. I think they're going to give Jahan a shot, maybe at third. But there's a guy, McCaffrey. They like him. They drafted him. He's going to be a playmaker on this team for them, whether it's gadgets or special teams or whatever. But they like McCaffrey. Like I said, the kid who I can't pronounce his name, they like him. They brought him in.
You're
They,
thinking you're thinking of Olamide Zacchaeus?
yeah, Zakai.
Everybody just calls him OZ.
Yeah, that guy. You said Zacchaeus. He kind of sounds Amish now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Adam Peters' mentality is when it comes to cut down day with Dan Quinn, because like I said, the guys that they didn't draft, they're not locks. I mean, yeah, they may have been made plays in the past, but they made plays for Ron. They didn't make plays for Dan.
But Rivera's 4 drafts, there may only be a combined 5 guys make this roster off of all those drafts. I mean, Forbes may not even start. Jamin Davis doesn't look to start. Dotson doesn't look to start. And Chase Young is gone. Woo, there's your first rounders all gone. Fedarian Mathis, I'm not sure he makes the team. He was a second rounder.
Yeah, if Johnny Newton's healthy, Fedarian Mathis is gone.
Yeah. The number 2 quarterback, if it's going to be Mariota, and partly because he's been a close mentor now to Daniels. But Driscoll's outplayed him in the preseason and off-season camps. Driscoll's, if Driscoll had to start a game, and JD's going to be the 36th starter this team has had since the last Super Bowl. But if I had to put Driscoll on that list too, he'd probably be somewhere between 10 and 20 on the list.
Mm-hmm.
36. He's not horrible. Had a great open field run with 2 cuts in it. That was pretty impressive. Mm-hmm. Some reserves, but I mean, I think he's been better. I would keep Driscoll just to keep him as trade bait too, in case somebody else loses a quarterback.
Yeah, and I know they really like Hartman, but they can always stash Hartman on the practice squad.
Yeah, I mean, when you cut him, somebody else could go for him, and that's the risk you take. But I don't think it's a big risk. I mean, the only thing you want to see is Jaden Daniels playing. You don't want to see that second quarterback. Yeah. I'll say one thing about it. We've been talking about JD doesn't know how to slide. Oh, boy, does that sound familiar? But I saw Mariota do a slide in practice last week. That was perfect. It was like second baseman stuff. It was awesome. It made me notice because he did it right in front of me. And I thought, well, go ask him how to do this. Because
do you remember another running quarterback that we drafted that didn't know how to slide, and the star from the professional baseball team offered to teach him how to slide, and he never took him up on it?
And
Daniels
has got to learn to make a cut to the sideline, not inside like he did. They're not going to be easier on you come September. But
yeah, Jaden's a tough kid, but oof. Man, one wrong hit from those big you're not playing guys that are, in college, you're playing some guys that are going to end up with a Joe job. Nobody on the other side of that ball is going to have a Joe job. They're big, they're men.
I mean, are you worried about kicker? And I say this because, they're going to be looking at kickers when cuts come in a week from now.
Yeah, no, I'm not concerned about kickers. There's guys. There's 2 kickers on a roster. One of them guys is going to get shaken loose, and it's going to be decent. I know. I mean, like what Joey Sly got traded to Jacksonville Jaguars to New England, or vice versa. I mean, if you even wanted to bring Sly back, I think he's going to end up being a cut. You could pick him up off the scrap heap.
And Sly is with New England, which is at Commanders Field this Sunday. You may see Joey Sly coming back. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing to go grab him.
Hey, Joey could come out in a Patriots uniform and then at halftime wearing a Commanders jersey. They could make
Trade.
a trade halfway through the game.
Mm,
It's funny because I kind of got excited when they brought in um
yeah.
Patterson, but I'll be honest with you, Rick, we haven't gotten a chance to talk about it, but McManus was a target for them in the offseason.
Yeah.
Obviously, they didn't know that he was going to be, rubbing stewardesses' booties on a plane and get called out for it. So, we kind of had to go to the bottom of the scrap heap when it comes to a kicker. So, I'm not concerned too much. Like I said, once cut down day happens, somebody's going to shake loose and they're going to grab them.
It's just the kicker after the quarterback. The kickers are always ignored, but kickers will win or lose more games than any other position.
Oh yeah,
You
how
know?
many games did we lose last year by 2 or 3 points?
Yeah, I mean they're good, and yeah, they don't get quite the paramount respect that like quarterbacks do. I mean, safeties, your O line, they don't make a difference in 2 or 3, 4 games, but a kicker will. I mean, Norv Turner lost his job because of a kicker, and he had 5 of them that year, couldn't find one.
Yeah, and
Uh,
this team has never had good luck with kickers since what, Chip Lowmiller? I mean, realistically, I mean they had David Akers, they cut him, he went on to be a Hall of Famer almost. But and that's the thing. I mean, special teams has been ignored by the Hall of Fame. It's been ignored by everybody. Everybody laughed when the Raiders drafted Sebastian Janikowski when they did. Now, was it probably, they probably could have waited a little bit longer? Sure. But how long
yeah,
did Seabass kick for the Raiders? I mean, and that guy was clutch. He was clutch.
yeah, he did about 10 years with them. Are you? What do you think about the new kickoff rules? I said I think it's both stupid and cool at the same time. And I've
I'm
watched
used to it because it's XFL rules.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I understand what they're trying to do, and I've watched practices, and I can tell you what you've seen now is nothing, because come September, not that I'm revealing Washington's strategy, every team's doing this. They're going to suddenly have these stunt plays where they're going to have their guards on the field, their tight ends on the field, who know how to pull block and go through things. In September, you're going to see some wild play. By October, everybody's figured out how to stop this. But you're going to get a month or so of games where somebody's going to figure out how to exploit this system.
Now, the
Um,
one thing that I'm confused about, what happens with the ball if you get a touchback?
it goes back out to the 25 or 30, I forget.
I think
Um,
it's different this year because the touchback last year was to the 25. I'm
I
not
think
100% sure because the game that I was trying to watch, it was one of the Commanders games. They were trying to explain the kickoff rule. My kid was talking, or I just wasn't paying attention. But like I noticed in all the games that I've watched, nobody's going for the touchback. I mean, that was last year it was the year of the touchback. So I wasn't sure if it was a more steeper penalty, like do they take it to the 40, like if they kick it out of bounds, but I don't know, maybe it's the 30, who knows.
so when you were watching the Miami game, first half, did you think your closed captioning was on? You couldn't figure out how to turn it
Yeah, I
off.
was wondering what was going on. I thought okay, so to be fair, my wife cannot watch television without a closed captioning. I can't stand it. I watch TV, I don't want to read television. But she's one of these millennial, or actually, she's, I guess, above a millennial. She's 6 years younger than me. She's one of these people that has to have, the subtitles on during Netflix, and I can't stand it. And I'm looking at her. I'm like, why did you turn the captions on? It's a football game. She's like, I didn't do it. I promise. And I'm looking at it and I'm playing with it, and sure enough, it wasn't her.
Yeah, I heard, I put it on Twitter. I said, is anybody else seeing this? And I got a huge, like 20,000 views. And people said, man, I spent 10 minutes. I'm yelling at the screen, trying to change all my settings. And I'm like, who is somebody at Channel 9 doesn't get any a call saying, dude, you got to close captioning on. They went the whole first half. And I laughed at halftime. They did a Channel 9 commercial previewing the game. I
Yeah.
thought, well, there's a
Now look,
waste.
I don't want to ride them too hard because I know this is the first year. Channel 9 coverage sucks. It's not the professional broadcast. It's our local WUSA 9. The I love Chick Hernandez. Don't get me wrong, but I'm more. I loved me personally. I was a, excuse me, Redskins on CSN type of guy. I loved Comcast Sportsnet when they were on there, and you had, Kenny Albert and Joe Theismann, and then at the halftime show you had Santana and the whole crew in there. Chick was a part of that. But man, I miss those NBCSN, the CSN days. That was the perfect local broadcast for this team.
Yeah, I just laugh at nobody's in the Channel 9 control room.
I know. Hey, dude, why are the captions on? Turn them off.
I mean, it didn't make any sense. I could see it starting. Okay, oops. But it took a whole half to figure this out. Was nobody in the room? Were they all sleeping, sitting there? The game's on. Well, we can take a break.
Oh, it is a preseason game, to be fair.
Yeah, but to run a commercial, your own house commercial saying, "Hey, watch the game coming up. It's halftime, dude." You just blew that spot. It just made me laugh. I'm not even going to talk about an announcing on it, but oh man. What about Forbes? Do you think he starts?
No.
I don't either.
No, and unfortunately, St. Just has not taken the starting role away from him. St. Just got burnt the other night against the Dolphins. Sanistril is going to be a good player for them, I have a feeling, but that's a rookie. You can't really rely on that guy. Yeah, I don't know. For what we were sold with Forbes, not only from Ron and company, but from draft experts and college people, what we were sold on Forbes is not what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing that ball hawking cornerback that's going to take six, that's going to get 6 picks a year. I'm not seeing it. I don't know. I don't know where that guy is. I mean,
yeah.
Granted, he played at a small school. Maybe it's a small time competition. Who knows?
I think Forbes, I've watched him in the practices. I think he's looking better. He's gained about 10 pounds. And you can see it's like from his knees up, his legs look okay. His knees down, they're still stick thin. But, he's going to be a little bit better at that. He's got some more confidence. He's really been trying to hang in there against Terry in practice. So I think he should be better after 1 year of it. I mean, last year you're just going to have to throw out the season of all the bad things that happened.
Yeah, and unfortunately, your defensive coordinator is a former secondaries coach for the Dallas Cowboys. He's a pretty highly touted one.
I have a feeling he's not going to start. And I agree with you. St. Just does not look great. I think St. Just won't be on the roster next year, probably.
I don't think Forbes will either, unless it's in a backup role or a special teams role. Because I think there's certain things that we're going to see throughout the year that we can pretty much predict now. I mean, obviously, safety and corner is going to need to be upgraded in the offseason. Offensive line is going to need to be upgraded in the offseason. Those are going to be your key areas, I think. How much tread does Zach Ertz have on him? Can one of these other tight ends step up and take the number one role by the end of the year? That'll be a storyline for next year. This is a very big transition year. This is the first year of Dan Quinn and Adam Peters. We get it. So I'm not going to be too hard on them. They're still going. I think there's going to be complete overhaul of a lot of people towards the end of the year. Again, but corner and safety is definitely. Quan Martin's looked good at safety. That might be a decent draft pick. You're getting some guys back, like Jeremy Reeves. From injury. So, you kind of have to wait and see how it plays out, but those are probably the headlines going in to next season of how they're going to upgrade. And I'm going to make a bold prediction for you, Rick. John Allen or Daron Payne will not be on this team next year. They're going to trade one of them, I bet.
Yeah. Jerseys. They put out a jersey schedule. God help them. But basically,
which one has yellow pants? That's all we care about. Which one has gold pants?
They didn't talk about the pants, only the jerseys. Burgundy is going to be the home games, except for Tennessee and Chicago when they wear black.
Wasn't Chicago on a Thursday?
And those are later season games on there. And then, white on the road. So that's kind of tradition there. But the black, I thought maybe they just only ditched the black on everything. But I guess they got a few up to sell. So worry about it.
Let me know when the jersey burning party is, because we're getting new ones. The only one I like is the red one, or the burgundy.
It said this big study, the Commanders had the second cheapest season ticket plan in the league. And I thought, somebody tell Dan Snyder that? I bet he's mad. How did he not raise prices off of that?
One of the upgrades that Harris and company has made is the team tunnel. You can buy the team tunnel tickets to watch them come out. Um, what are they, like $15,000 for the season or something ridiculous?
I wrote something about that, and people chastise me for let them spend the money how they want. Well, okay, I'm a capitalist, but man, for God's sake, give that to a food bank or something instead of high-fiving players in a tunnel for 15 grand. Not even a nice tunnel. It's just ridiculous on there.
You know,
All right,
look, I'll say this, kind of like what I said with the roster, the Harris Group ownership, that's going to be a wait and see too, because a lot of it is going to depend on where that new stadium's going. That's when we're going to see Josh Harris and his team really, really peak, is when they get that new stadium. They come out, hopefully, hope to God there's no moat. I don't want a moat. There's going to be no beach. You should be inside watching the football game. But obviously we'll have to see what happens with that. But I think that's what they're going to be. They're still trying to undo the sins of Dan Snyder. You know what I mean? So, and realistically, Rick, what are you going to do with a toilet bowl? You can scrub it. It's still going to stink. It's still going to be a toilet bowl. So, it's not even FedEx Field anymore. What is it? Commanders Field?
For now, I have a feeling there'll be a new name on it soon.
You think it's going to be a corporate sponsor?
I only call it Bob's Furniture Barn. He's that guy that advertises with them.
Or Joe Hadid.
Yeah, whatever it is.
No, do you think it'll be corporate?
I don't know. I mean, the problem is they don't know when they're doing the next stadium, so you don't know how long you're selling this stadium's name for. And you could kind of work a deal of, maybe you want to do a half price here for 5 years, and then we'll put you in the big one. I don't know.
Hey, I got an idea, and you and I kind of talked about this. Joe Gibbs Field at Jack Kent Cooke Stadium.
Yeah, no money. Well, there's no money in Commanders Field, so that would be okay too. At least fans would like that.
I mean, people are dying for the tie-in to the old name, and that's another step. You're talking about one of the greatest owners we've had, and the most winning owner that we've had, and the most winning coach that we've had in history.
I'd be okay.
Who, by the way, is still around the team.
I'd be okay with the Big Jack on that.
Love it.
All right, last thing. I got a big poll I get a lot of PR companies bother me, but they did a study. Tennis balls, are they green or yellow? Which one are they?
They're fluorescent yellow.
No, they're green. What's the matter with you? 56% said they're yellow, 44% said they're green. I haven't seen a new tennis ball in a while. Maybe they changed it.
My dog has tennis balls, but they're orange.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just thought they were green.
I thought they were yellow.
Maybe they changed them lately. I haven't played tennis.
I thought they were fluorescent yellow, so they get picked up on TV during like Wimbledon better.
Which one comes in the tube with chips? I remember when they came out. I remember when Pringles came out with the tube. Everybody's like, "Where's the tennis ball?"
Yeah.
It was so crazy. Oh well. All right, so we're back every week now, and we'll do twice a week later on. But for now, I know all of our fans have been looking for you for a while. They've been asking where you were. So you're out on vacation getting drunk, and I was just working away.
No, yeah. Well, I did go to Myrtle Beach this year, like always, but no, you and I have talked offline. It's been a very stressful time in the Cones household. Just watch the Channel 9 games. There's a little link to Matt in the commercials that we're not going to talk about.
Oh, all right. If you want to go on tour with me, I actually have 3 tours coming up. Old Town Alexandria, Lincoln Assassination, and Embassy Row. We're going to go do the 90-minute tour. Then we're going to go eat pizza. Email me at mightymentalthoughts@gmail.com, and I'll tell you more about it if you like. $25, not a big deal.
You got 2 months to get that ghost tour going.
Yeah, you buy your own pizza on this. And we're not going to Curry and Pies, but I really enjoyed that place. It was there at Georgetown. It's like take an Indian dish, make it a pizza. It was actually really good. That's one of my new favorites. I did a video on that the other day. Videos are up 6 a.m. and sometime in the evening too. So you can always watch the stuff. Look out for Matt. He'll be at your door doing something mean to you. If you see Matt at your door, it's bad news on everything. But otherwise, I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Seasons of Discontent with your hosts, Rick Snyder and Matt Combs.